Coming at you live from Pro Play Games. We got our ARG state champion for Force of Will, Fernando Fuentes, playing Bahamut. And here's the deck list. Tell us about your deck, bro.
Alright, so as you can see here, there's only 10 cards. Everything was a 4 in my deck, 40 cards total. The concept behind it was just playing the smallest creatures possible, along with the single cards that dealt the most amount of damage possible. The main engine of the deck is this little card right here. Rogue. He's just broken. It's possibly the best card in Forcible. Along with him, you just have sacrifice effects, such as her. She gives you a draw engine. The main attacker, Cthulhu, he comes down early on for free when it comes out of him, and he doesn't die to Bow Regalia or any other type of interaction with your opponents, so that's why he's so strong. Along with them, you have what makes Bahamut so great. It's basically a 1200 damage punch to the face most of the time it comes down. There's only one counter to it in the game, so you never really have to worry too much about your opponent opening up a great setup against you. So that's where the deck thrives, just exploiting your opponent's weaknesses. Besides that, you have, like I said, early game creatures that deal burn damage, and then the burn themselves, Thunder, the rest red spell, and then the 2 mana 700 to the face. It's just an efficient card. The last 2 cards I added to the deck were this really small interaction that snatches a lot of games. It's when you put Nomeno, Hawakiri, and a Lancelot, he ends up dealing 1700 damage on most board states, and you can get it as early as turn 3, which is like the top of your curve. So he's just the best finisher I could find. So those are the last 2 for stones. I didn't really need anything but red, so I have 8 basics, and then I played the red special stone, increases damage. So in some situations it come in clutch, especially when he amplifies Bahamut's burn against things like Mephistopheles, for example. You end up burning it for a lot, and normally it can't block your smart creatures, or when it battles Bahamut trades with it instead of just losing to it. And then same thing as this one. Little red just gives him a little extra boost of energy, and what's better than only increasing 200 damage, this one actually against the Bow Regalia especially, which was used a lot in my logos in the event. It basically makes my 300s and my 400s 100 and 200 life higher than the bow can kill them, so they always make damage. So it was extremely versatile, and when I open it I feel a lot more comfortable.
Okay, so, and this looks pretty standard except for Purifying Fire. Can you explain how good that card was? I know a lot of people don't normally play that in the Bahamut build, let alone a red deck. So tell us how good this card was for you.
Alright, so essentially most games that you don't just win outright in a blowout manner, they go to turn 3, turn 4, and if your opponent manages to establish a good board state against you, normally your combat cards won't get through for damage. Things like an excessive amount of Cheshire Cats, or just really big creatures like the Angel Beat deck has just a bunch of chump blocking potential, and eventually your opponent's just gonna beat you on the ground. So you try to chip them down to an average amount. Normally I chip them down to 16, and then a combination of 2 Purifyings and Black Goat, or even 1 Purifying, 1 Thunder is usually enough. So it's just the most efficient way to go over the top of your opponent, so that's why I chose it over any other card.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about your side deck.
For sure. So in the side deck, I had a side deck plan that involved not relying on Bahamut too much in games 2 and 3. I think that honestly, Black Regalia is a card that no one should main deck, because you never know if you really can keep it in your hand or not. If let's say you go against a control deck, it's really dead in your hand in game 1s. So I don't think a lot of people will be brave enough to main deck it. That's why this deck has a really good advantage against every deck in game 1. But let's say you expect it to be side deck against you. I remove Bahamut and put Vlad. Vlad just it does the same thing as Bahamut in a situation where my opponent had Black Regalia. I would never flip him. At least this can deal some amount of damage and shift the life point totals a bit. Besides her, like sometimes against the Regalia deck, for example, the 28 Regalia deck, you need a little bit more help because sometimes they can be faster than you even. So, and when they're on the play, it's really, really difficult to beat them. So you just include this and you're able to chump block them a lot more efficiently. And then from there, you just try to take it faster than they do. Card's broken. And then this one, for mirrors or anything like the night deck, anything that summons Lancelot essentially, you just put this in on the play, on the draw. It's just a really good card, and it kills other threats that are less known but still there. Fetal Movement is just for certain reanimator decks. My locals has them, and just Rosard in general is kind of annoying. So it just banishes the whole graveyard, and they pretty much lose immediately when you play that card. It's also instant speed, which is kind of good. This one, I have it there simply because there's a lot of cards in the game that just say gain life in some way, shape, or form. I didn't bring it in that much, but when I did, it did steal me some games. Just the text don't gain life. It's pretty good, and dealing 100, that doesn't really win you the game, but it's there. It comes in clutch sometimes. And then what I think, so this card, I don't necessarily believe Split Earth is a great card. I genuinely believe it's there to punish anyone who's trying to do greedy like things. So it's the most influential card in the format in the sense that decks cannot exist because this card exists. So if you try to do like wonky 3, 4, 5 color things with your decks, like this just doesn't allow you to do that. So it's just there to, you know, keep in check things that would otherwise be pretty broken. So I'm kind of glad this card exists in this game. It makes it a better game. So I play 4 of those.
Well, it looks pretty solid, man. And congrats again on your first place victory. Hopefully you'll be at ARG Nationals representing us.
For sure.
And best of luck to you, man.
Awesome.